Hi, have you ever felt smothered by other people's expectations? Listen, it's the Drama-Free Living Podcast with Dennis and Lisa, and we're going to talk about the freedom of learning to say no, setting boundaries, and drawing the line. Now, you've never had to do this, have you, before?
Every day. Every day.
Well, I think it's almost this funny idea that freedom is found in boundaries. Because a lot of times, we think of you're limiting me and you're stopping me, but really there is freedom inside of these boundaries. It's almost like the picture, I think, of a garden. And you have this garden. One thing that a garden needs is it needs fences so that other animals don't come in and eat some of the fruit, eat the vegetables. And so, listen, your life is like a garden. Your leadership, your organization, there are gardens that you have in your life. Your soul is like a garden, right? There's all these gardens, and part of your job is to protect that garden and put these boundaries around it. And they're boundaries, not barriers.
Yeah.
And it's this idea that freedom, really is found inside of boundaries.
Really, it's the capacity to be one's own person.
Wow. The capacity to be one's own person, right? Because a lot of times we kind of get meshed up, right? If we don't have boundaries.
We get swallowed up at work. We get swallowed up at home. And we don't have the capacity to be our own person.
And this is really what
we give that capacity away.
We do. It's never taken from us.
No, it actually can be taken from us.
But do we in truth give it away though?
Yeah, we do. We give it away, and it can also be taken.
Yeah. And so we want to just maybe give you some skills, because this is where a lot of burnout and overwhelm come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we deal a lot with burnout, overwhelm, and even, in our workshops and in our training, it is and it's why we really created Emotionally Intelligent.
Yeah.
Right. So if you struggle with burnout and overwhelm, we'd like to just we're going to put a link there in the show notes for Emotionally Intelligent, and you actually get a coach, you get somebody to kind of walk you through so that you can eliminate that burnout and overwhelm.
Well, it's our elite communication style.
Yeah.
So it's the communication style. So you do have the capacity to be your own person. So you can make up your mind about who you are, what you want, and what you don't want. And so our elite communication system, this Emotionally Intelligent, helps you to be able to basically stand up for you and for what you want and who you are.
Yeah.
And with that, you get a workbook and then also a conversation with one of our coaches just to help you walk through the areas that you're kind of stuck on.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. So maybe here's some signs that maybe you might be lacking boundaries in relationships. Is you have difficulty saying no. And no is not a 4-letter word, it's a 2-letter word. And and it's okay. Right? It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Another one is constant need for approval. Now, this is a big one, right?
And I think that these are the extremes.
Yeah.
So because I think, I don't have difficulty saying no. I don't have constant need for approval, but yet I don't say no every time I want to say no. And there are times that I need approval. And what does that show me? This is the less extreme of that. And I'm thinking, I actually do need to set better boundaries, because there's sometimes that I want to say no and I don't say no.
Well, and here's what's amazing, Lisa, is that you want to say no, but you say yes, and then you're mad about doing it. And you're the one who said yes, right? I'm
absolutely.
mad. We have created these scenarios for ourselves. It's
and if you listen to our podcast previously, I'm mad about giving up my morning room. That was a boundary that I needed to set.
Right.
You have to listen to the other podcast to get it. But.
Yeah. And that's really good, Lisa, because you're right. A lot of times I don't constantly need approval, but when do you need approval? And could it be a boundary issue for you?
Yeah.
Right.
So, or when do you feel overwhelmed or drained? Or maybe even just a little bit overwhelmed or drained. It's just, man, that just took the wind out of my sails, that conversation or that project.
Yeah. And I don't think you're designed to live life drained. You're designed to live life full. I mean, we do get drained sometimes, but I think we can kind of step back and go, have I given up a boundary? Now, and a boundary is not a barrier. It's not a wall, right? They're a little bit movable, and right, there's a context to all boundaries, right? There's relationships to boundaries. So there's not sort of hard or fast rules. But I think the thing that we've seen, Lisa, is where people overgive. They kind of outgive their supply.
Right, because we need effective limits to maintain control over our time and our life and our energy.
Well, because time there's a limit to time,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a resource that has limits to it, and you're a resource, and you have limits to you, and really defining what those limits are, and then there are times where you can start to push those limits, but you cannot push them all the time. It's almost like a rubber band, right? I stretch it, and if I live stretched, and I know even Lisa, like our team has kind of come to me sometimes, and it's like, hey, we can't stretch all the time, and I'm like, yes, you can. No, but really I step back and go, you know what? You're right.
You need to get filled back up. You need to have that tension and the release, and the tension and the release.
Well, because think about it. It's a rubber band. It stretches and then it contracts. It pulls back. So guess what? Then it can stretch even more. But if you don't have the pull back, you break. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like the pullback creates the break creates the, breaking through, taking that break.
And there's the pullback, there's the tension and the pushing and the pullback in life, in the things that we do, in projects, in work, in ownership of maybe your home or your car. There's all of those things that there's the tension and the pushing and then the pulling back and releasing. But where you don't want it is you don't want it in the relationships, because then you don't have the energy to put toward the things of life, because there's an imbalance in the relationships and what you're allowing to have happen in your life and what you're allowing to say yes and no to, or the things that you want to do and the things that you don't want to do.
Really, and this is really kind of, at the end of the day, really helping leaders to really live with the demands of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And you have to have your mind made up for it. You have to know. Yeah. You can't just I think maybe I like this or not like this, or I'm going to do this. In advance, my mind is made up. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. This is who I am. And then you can make your decisions from that moving forward.
Yeah. And I think here's a big one, Lisa, is taking responsibility for others' emotions. Hey, I don't want to make you mad.
Yeah.
Right? But or, I made her mad.
But even at that, if you get mad and then I feel uneasy about it, guess what?
It's a boundary issue.
It's I'm letting your emotions affect me. Mm-hmm. I need to be at the point where you can get mad and I'm like, you know what? That's okay.
Yeah. It's
no
mad.
Skin off my back. Not in the I don't care pushing away, but really I don't feel yuck about it. And it's okay. It's that mad is your issue. That mad is not my issue.
Right, because a lot of times then we end up playing the victim to that, right? Mm-hmm. Just talking with a client yesterday, and that this person was mad, and it just messed up their entire day.
Yeah,
and he wanted to talk about how this other person was mad and angry, and I was like, well, let's talk about you.
Like, why is it bothering you?
Why is it bothering you? Why? Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're human. They're going to get mad. They're going to get angry. Or
they're going to be sad or irritated or worried. And I need to
let you be mad and angry and sad, because I have to let you be human, because otherwise I'm expecting you to be a bot and let's just make you AI.
Yeah. And so and I think what's great about that is when you have really great boundaries, it helps people take ownership of their stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And that is a fast way to change, right? Mm-hmm. Is like, if I can help you help. I'm mad and you don't let it bother you, and that helps me take ownership of my own mad.
Well, and then it helps you be able to process through why you feel mad, because I am not fueling your mad. I'm not throwing fuel on the flames of your mad, and then it doesn't become a spiral, because otherwise we're going to go down the spiral and you're going to be mad, and then I'm going to throw fuel on it, and then you're going to get more mad, and then I'm going to get mad, and then you're going to get and then
all the drama starts, and
you just drama down the spiral and go victim, blamer, rescuer, and then you really need help at that point. We really need help at that point.
Yeah, and so listen, boundaries are a great way to care for people. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm going to set these boundaries up. Neglecting your own needs. Maybe you've been neglecting your own needs, and you've got to get filled up yourself first.
And it can be little things. So, for example, Dennis, maybe he wants to go on a bike ride, and I'm like, I really don't want to go on a bike ride. I just really would rather, stay home on this Saturday and maybe read a book or, plant some flowers. But I know that he really wants to go on a bike ride. And if he doesn't go on a bike ride, he's going to maybe sulk a little bit. And I'm like, I just don't know if I have the energy for him to sulk. And I just don't know if I have the energy for him to like be a little bit disgruntled. So I'm like,
Oh, that
okay.
never happens. Come on.
So I'm like, okay, we'll go on a bike ride because, I mean, it's the bike ride. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
But what did I really want? I really wanted to stay home and, plant flowers and read a book. But did I even bother communicating that? No, because I didn't want him to go into that kind of funk.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to deal with it. I was like, it is not worth planting flowers and reading a book for him to go into that funk. So I'm just going to go on a bike ride and I'm going to make the best of it. And what is that? That was neglecting my own need.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple thing. They're not huge. A lot of times they're just little things.
But what we really want to teach, and it's why we really developed EI for this communication system, is how do we have this needs negotiation conversation?
Right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, what can happen is you go on a bike ride and then you're irritated that you went on a bike ride.
Well, and I'm irritated because I really wanted to read a little bit more in my book and these flowers aren't going to plant themselves. So now I'm going to have to take some time when I'm supposed to be doing something maybe for work and I'm going to have to plant the flowers then because they're going to die because I really didn't express my needs and we didn't have a needs negotiation conversation.
Right. And people that are super enmeshed in each other, right, they're not able to say like, hey, you sit and read a book. I'm going to go on a bike ride. Well, I'll see you in an hour. And be totally at peace with that. And both of our needs get met, but at times people are so enmeshed, that is really hard to even have that conversation.
Well, it's really hard to even recognize it.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of times you need professional help. I mean, we've needed professional help and we're still figuring out how to separate. Because when we got married, we thought we were doing really well and pretty healthy. And we've been married for 34 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And really I'm thinking about it and I'm like, wow, we were actually really dysfunctional and there's a lot of codependent behavior there and didn't even know it. I mean, now looking back on it, I'm thinking, of course.
Yes, we just didn't see it.
Look what we came out of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it happens in the workplace too.
Yeah.
Right. So we're just talking about Lisa and I and, our relationship, but I want you to think about you and just do some parallel learning. Right? We're kind of sharing some of our story, but you think about your own story.
How does that relate to you? Like what aspects of this kind of can you see in your life?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about Dennis and I, but you know what? We work together too. Yeah. And so this is even more pronounced in family members that work together whether they're partners, children, we work with a lot of people that maybe it's, father and son, they work together and one of them started the business and the next one comes in and maybe buys the business. And the last thing that we want is for you to just completely destroy those relationships and not even have a relationship at the end just because you were interacting together. And we hear that story a lot. And it just kind of breaks my heart a little bit.
It really does.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. And so listen, if you find yourself in that scenario, it's like reach out to us. Okay. We've worked with a lot of family businesses, a lot of, people that work with their families and their children and spouses work together. We've helped countless people. So if that's you're having challenges, just reach out to us and we'd love to have a conversation with you. Yeah. Anything we can do.
We might be able to help you.
Because we've gotten a lot of help through the years. That was us, right? Another one is
sometimes it still is us.
It can be, but tolerating disrespect or mistreatment.
Yeah.
Right. How many times? And it's like you have to train people how to respond to you, how to treat you.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times, if you don't have a poor self-image, if you have a poor self-image, this is really hard stuff to sort of navigate through. Difficultly expressing your feelings or needs. It's really why we created Emotionally Intelligent. Like we actually give you like this whole process of like how to identify even what I feel. Because a lot of times I just don't even feel. I don't even know what I feel. I can't communicate. I can't express it. And then because like you feel.
And then you think you're fine because you're not feeling it. You think you're totally fine because you don't even know what's in there.
Yeah. And all feelings are simply just a representation of something I need. I feel this because I need some, right? I feel angry and I really need respect. Right. Yeah. And I'm trying to get that respect, that need met for respect by using anger. And here's the thing. What we have discovered is it's not a good strategy. It is a strategy.
It will take you down a road you don't want to go.
Right. And if you're trying to control somebody, anger is a good strategy. Mm-hmm. Okay. If your goal is control, anger is a good strategy. But if your goal is to connect, anger is not the best strategy. Okay. So
yeah, we're talking about effective limits to maintain control over your life, your time, your energy. Yeah.
Right. If you have guilt or anxiety over self-care. We talk to so many people that they almost feel guilty for taking a day off. And I kind of dealt with this, Lisa. I remember at one time I even put on my email, it's like, hey, I'm unavailable today. I'm taking time off. I'm pulling back to take care of me so that I can serve you better.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, hey, I need to take care of me so that I can serve you even better. Because if you're not careful, we talked about this before, you overgive.
And a lot of times people, this is a real struggle with parents.
Yeah.
Parents of children is still in your home, and it can even be a real struggle with parents of adult children when something happens and they need something, because they're a piece of you, they're a part of you, and you would drop anything to help them. And when they're young enough, you have to. You're trying to keep tiny humans alive.
Yeah.
But when we don't take care of ourselves, and we don't recognize this is what I really need, when we don't, phone a friend and be like, I have to have a break.
Yeah.
Or when we don't even set limits, even with kids once they're a little bit older, and then say, listen, I need a little bit of time. I need you to go in your room and just read some books for a while. I know that was something that we
when our kids were younger.
When our kids were younger, every day when they were old enough that they could have some alone time. Because listen, we all need alone time. I need time by myself just to process. You need time by yourself. Well, our kids need time by themselves, even when they're 2. We have a 2-year-old granddaughter, and honestly, she needs time by herself just to be alone and process through the things that she's going through. And this is all the way up in, when you're teenagers, is you've got to have that time to pull away. And that's healthy. And so one of the things that we did when our kids were younger, or when they were still in the house, is we'd be like, listen, this is like alone time. Everybody go up to your room. You can leave your doors open. That's totally fine. But just have some time by yourself, read some books, color, write a note, play a game. But this is just quiet time. This is time to just be alone. And I would do that myself. And I would go in my room, or maybe I'd just sit on the couch, because that way I could hear what was going on and make sure nobody was dying.
Yeah.
And just so I could pull back and decompress, because we don't do that. And we also don't do that enough in the workplace. There are times when you need to take that 15-minute break, right?
Yeah.
And, okay, I'm going to talk to those of you that have so many vacation days that you will never use them.
Uh-oh. Here you go.
That is so unhealthy for you. I have someone that I know, and they just retired from decades long of a career, and they had so much vacation time loaded up. I mean, like a couple years worth of vacation time, personal time that they never took. The good thing is a lot of times companies will reimburse you. They'll maybe give you half of that amount back. So, they'll pay you for 4 hours, even though you were able to take 8 hours. But that's also a little bit of a ploy for you not to take that personal time. If you have personal time, take it. You need to take it. You need it for your health. And that way they don't own you, and you don't feel resentful that they own you.
Well, and then when you actually do show up, you show up full of energy. And that's the key, right? Where you really make a great contribution, because
take your personal time.
Yeah, you're full of energy.
PTO, take it.
Well, Lisa, and I think the best word that describes this for me is that word rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Rejuvenate. And it's a French word, and it means to make young again. Right? And so it's like when you rejuvenate, it's like you're making yourself young again. Now, here's what's interesting. Who can tell you what rejuvenates you? Only you. Only you, right? I have one client that I'm thinking about in Virginia. Like, he loves to go out into his garage and work on tinker. Lisa, that would not rejuvenate me. I'd be throwing wrenches and throwing things through windows, and after about 5 minutes, right? But it rejuvenates him. Yeah. So only you know what rejuvenates you. Only you know what fills you up. So really start to self-discover. As you're going through things, just try different things. Like, hey, this really fills me up, or that didn't really fill me up. And really get honest about your experiences, and kind of tell the truth about your experiences and because it's self-care.
Yeah, because otherwise you end up burnt out and overwhelmed. If you don't discover what rejuvenates you, you will end up burnt out and overwhelmed. And it's not a good way to live. It's hard.
Yeah, and what we really have discovered is that people that become burnout or overwhelmed, it's kind of like they've went outside of their boundaries.
Yeah.
In some way, some form, fashion, right? They kind of cross the line. And so we want you to redraw the line. redraw the line, and really find freedom inside of boundaries. Because some things that happen is you get resentful, you get a little passive aggressive a little bit, right? You're resentful, right? Because typically whenever I rescue, I'm saying yes to something I really want to say no to.
Yeah.
Right? I say yes, and I really in my heart want to say no, and then I end up feeling like the victim.
Yeah.
I rescue. Yeah.
It just feels,
And then I feel like the victim, and then I end up blaming and complaining. It's like I have just jumped into the drama triangle, and it really is this boundary issue, right? And so like once I come into rescue, I always feel like a victim and blamer. It is a natural progression of what goes on in my brain.
Yeah.
Sometimes oversharing or lack of privacy.
Okay. Hang on. Before you do that, you talked about the drama triangle.
Yeah.
So we have a book called Drama Free Teams, and it talks about the drama triangle and all of that. If you want to know more about that and just what we're talking about, victim and blamer and rescuer, get our book, Drama Free Teams. It's 8 qualities of drama free teams, and it's really
it's on Amazon.
Helpful.
We'll put a link there, right? You can buy it wherever books are sold. So resentful, they get passive aggressive, right? Kind of, and then people overshare. They have lack of privacy, right? And then they have difficulty making decisions.
Can you hear this spiral?
Yeah, it's like
guilt and anxiety, and then oversharing, lack of privacy, difficulty making decisions, and it's just like as you're saying this, I'm just feeling more and more yuck.
Then it gets even worse because then you have the rejection and the manipulation
and then you feel unloved. And it's like, by the time you're done, it's like you are the dregs of the earth.
Help me.
Yeah, it's really tough. And it's because you don't have your mind made up about who you are, what you want, and what you don't want.
Yeah. So we want to encourage, take some time. Okay. Take some time to really get clear on your boundaries.
Okay. And so sometimes it's really hard. I know for me, I sometimes still don't know what I want, but I start with, okay, what don't I want? This is what I don't want. And then once I kind of separate that piece out, I can go and then, okay, this is what's left. Like, who am I and what do I want? And then I can begin to discover. And a lot of times it's a process of elimination. Setting up boundaries can be a process of elimination, starting with what don't I want? And then you can get to what do I want and who I am.
Yeah. So Lisa, I think we do need to cover here as we're talking about boundaries, right? There's this idea of separation, which is really like boundaries, but we're not talking about isolation.
Yeah.
Right. And there is this sort of dance between separation and isolation. Yeah. Right. So let's kind of maybe talk about some of the differences, because if you're not careful, we have seen people put boundaries and then they become walls. Yeah. And then they don't let people in. Right. And they sort of become immovable walls and barriers, to their life. And then they feel isolated. And that's not what we're talking about. So here's maybe some differences.
Okay. And also isolation is not being alone.
Yeah.
Isolation is being separated and walled off. And you hurt
me, so I'm going to put up a shield and you're never going to hurt me ever
again. And it's extremely
and
protective. It's like you go into protective mode.
And then nobody else can break through
it's like it's like a force field.
Yeah, kind of put this force field.
No one can get in and no one can get out.
And listen,
so you can't get out and nobody else can get in. And that's what we're talking about, isolation.
Yeah. And so listen, if you have trouble with that, because we do understand that there are wounds and there are hurts that people have walked through, it's reach out to us. Okay. We work with a lot of leaders that have to deal with some very serious wounds and,
and we are not professional counselors, and there is space for professional psychologists that are experts in different areas, and they're specialists. And sometimes you need that.
Yeah. So reach out to us. And listen, what's amazing is even a lot of people on our roundtable, they're kind of like that. Then when they first come into a roundtable, they have some of these same kind of issues, and they work through them in a roundtable setting, and they do it in a group setting, right? Because I'm a big proponent of you don't heal alone.
Yeah.
I don't heal alone. You don't heal. Nobody heals alone. So let's just kind of maybe go through the difference between healthy separation and isolation. So, healthy separation boundaries, it's always purposeful and constructive.
Right.
Right. It's this idea, I'm going to create a space that's going to promote my own personal growth and my own emotional well-being. Right. So it's hey, I'm not going to check email after 5 o'clock. From 5 o'clock at night until 8 a.m. the next morning, I just don't check email. Right?
One of mine is I really don't talk to anybody until after 8 o'clock in the morning. It could be even after 8:30. I mean, I might be up at.
You don't even talk to me.
I seriously, I don't even talk to Dennis. Dennis kind of asks, hey, can I mean, I'll text him good morning and he'll bring me a cup of tea.
But that's it. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, but don't talk to me. That is my space to just get myself ready to face all of the things that are going to happen today. And I need that. And so whether I wake up at 5:30, 6:30, I mean, I might not wake up until 7:30, but I still don't plan on getting a hold of me, reaching me, talking to me until at least 8 or 8:30, because I need that space and that alone time, and I protect it fiercely.
Yeah. So it's a boundary so that you can protect your emotional well-being. I mean, Lisa, another one that you do is after a roundtable day, it's an all-day Friday. That next Saturday,
Nothing.
Nothing.
I don't do a thing.
Yeah, you don't do a thing because it's like you got to recharge yourself. It's like you got to rejuvenate yourself. So is it rejuvenating, right? So that's what a boundary should be. A boundary in healthy separation, it maintains connection, right? Even during these healthy boundaries, you still have meaningful communication, respect, and you can still connect, right? It's not going to wall you off.
Right. So for example, in my morning from, that 30 minutes to 3 hours when I'm just by myself, Dennis will come in, he'll bring me tea and we'll talk briefly. And he'll ask, hey, can I sit for a minute? And then I let him know yes, or I let him know no. And I can tell when I tell him yes and I should have said no. Or I can tell when he's extending beyond what I want him to be there for, because I start to feel a little bit yuck. And I'm not good about saying, hey, you know what? You've extended your time and we need to kind of cut this off because I need me time. But I'm learning to be better.
Well, and this is in
that.
your relationships, each partner's secure enough to go, hey, that's great. Right? Doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't bother me.
I am not rejecting you.
Yeah.
I am not rejecting you. This is just something I need to be the healthiest me that I can be.
And this is why I probably work with a lot of family businesses at times, right? Because these are all meshy things that sort of like play themselves.
There's a lot of enmeshment in there and it's tough.
Yeah. And it plays itself out when we go to work. And it's not just like these things that happen in the home. Another thing that boundaries really do is it fosters this individual identity.
Yeah.
Right. It lets people be themselves.
Yeah.
And so there's no control, right? It's like, hey, let people be themselves. And almost like I've seen this with leaders, like sometimes we have to let people fail.
It's the capacity to be one's own person.
Yeah. And it's really, and then if you can allow people to be their own person, they can better handle the demands of reality.
Well, and then you get the real them because you didn't marry me because I'm just like you. And if you wanted me to be just like you would have found somebody just like you to marry.
I would have found me.
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
I don't think it works that way.
It doesn't, right? And so it's really like helping people discover their interests, their values, or their goals. Now, listen, if you go, well, I don't really know what I want, that might be a sign that maybe you haven't had the best boundaries. And so starting to set those boundaries is going to help you rediscover. Yeah. Hey, this is what I like. This is what I don't like.
And there are seasons in life. I mean, we raised our kids and I really focused a lot on raising our kids and launching them. And you focused a lot on the business. I did things in the business, but I was there to keep humans alive. Yeah. Really. And so then when it came down to it and we were launching them, I was like, gosh, I have got to figure out me. I have to figure out what I want now that this heavy, huge responsibility is off me, because now I have space to be more me than I had space before.
Yeah. And then the last thing it really does the difference is that it really supports emotional health.
Yeah.
I mean, boundaries are there to protect emotional well-being and really to reduce conflict, right? And to prevent this emotional exhaustion. Yeah. And how many times we're just exhausted emotionally and then we don't give. So Lisa, 3 practical strategies. You want to maybe talk about those real quick?
Absolutely. Take ownership. Take ownership.
Yeah.
Of your life,
which means your yes
choices.
Is your, if your yes is yes, then say yes.
And obviously you're going to take everything into consideration. I mean, if you're trying to keep tiny humans alive, you're going to do that. But also you take ownership for your life and your choices. And then you clearly communicate your boundaries. Like I am working to better and better communicate to Dennis, hey, and that he already knows that morning time is very protected time. Mm-hmm. And he comes in and he will sit and talk for a little bit. But then there are times when he pushes past my boundary and I need him to go, but yet maybe he's just like giving me some really good, just sharing really good things that I want to hear, but yet it's infringing on my boundary. And I'm like, I need to call a pause on this because this is my boundary. And then it's saying no without guilt. It's like, no, I need to show up the best me as possible. You are only as healthy as the unhealthiest person in your relationship. So
think about that with
you
your
are
team.
only as a company or as a team, you are only as healthy as the unhealthiest person on the team.
Right. So if you got a leadership team, we'd love to come in and work with you, right? We've worked with so many leadership teams, right? It's like, hey, how do I get my team healthy so that we can get even better results, even faster results?
Learn to say no without guilt.
Yeah. And no is not a 4-letter word. It's just a 2-letter word. So you can do it. You can absolutely do it. So, Lisa, I think my big takeaway is I just need to like step back and like even look at some of the boundaries like in my professional relationships. Yeah. I think some of that has sort of been a little meshy as we're kind of talking through it. I'm thinking about different clients and different relationships and even like some of our team members and thinking through, okay, has it become a little meshy a little bit? So I'm going to go back and kind of think through that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I figured you would, right? Yeah, you're like, hey, I've been telling you that for like a couple months now. Yeah, but I'm kind of getting some awareness. Lisa, for you, what was the takeaway?
I think it's the effective limits to maintain control over your life, your time, and your energy. So I need to look some more at the effective limits to maintain control over my life, my time, and my energy. So I have limits to maintain control over maybe my life and my time, but not so much my energy. And I've got to look at how can I tighten that up so I can protect my energy. And I want to do that because then I can bring my best self in to every situation.
Yeah. So listen, we want you to draw the line. Get these healthy boundaries, get some freedom. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, like we'd love for you to like click link if you're listening to it on your favorite podcast app and share it with a friend. Just hit share and share it with one person. You go, hey, you could really use this right here. This is some good information. So share it with a friend.
Maybe better say, hey, this really helped me. And you might find it's helpful for you too.
Yeah. And if you need some help, EI is there as a resource. We'll put a link in the show notes and we'll see you next time on the Drama Free Living Podcast.